some people love, raise your hand if you love full mount. Right? Raise your hand if you love back mount. Yeah, good. You got 3 hands? Raise your hand if you love side mount. It's always the least, right? Raise your hand if you love the mount that wins. That's always my go-to, guys. Okay? So I realized over my journey that side mount was the mount for me. If it's not back mount is money because you can't see me. Okay? But side mount to me, coming up, like I think I said at the beginning, like when we raised our hands, there was like what, maybe 10 black belts. So that's how many like white and blue belt girls there were in the Metroplex at that time. So I think I fought a lot of bigger partners. Even though I'm not a small girl, turns out I am smaller than some of the guys out here. I know, only physically, not in my mind, okay? So I realized for me, full mount, like I got thrown constantly. It was like 8 seconds, just hold on, okay? And it was wild out here 10 years ago, guys. Like, they weren't as nice to us at all, but it was better so that we could show you how it should be, okay? So me, I like side mount because even if they try to throw me, I can anchor my weight back and forth, and I don't get thrown, okay? Plus, I've gotten rid of their hips, which is like the strongest part of your body. The biggest muscle group exists in that area. If I set myself on it, fight, okay? So I love starting here in side control, even as opposed to side mount, because there's just so much space here in side mount. Space and opportunity for her, okay? So I like to really like crowd her upper body. I'm gonna try to cut all of this off, get rid of it. Except for those few flexible people where you're here and you're like, how's their foot? Mary, your pedicure looks amazing, get away from me, okay? So I like to be here so that if she really tries to bridge and turn into me, I shift the weight from my feet right back into her. I'm not just using my arms to hold her, I'm using my entire upper body to smash into her, okay? If she gets up on underhook and tries to throw me that way, go back, try to throw me that way, up and over, then I get to push back into her. Having this foot posted and not here in drill team, okay, you know. Foot posted is important. I like drill team though, don't tell me this, okay? So from here, I'm keeping her shoved, smashed, all of those lovely words we do to each other, okay? So she's gonna bring her elbow in. I'm gonna stay tight, and look, I just take my forearm to her forearm, and for this one, I'm gonna bring my leg up and over, bring my ankle together, and very kindly, I'm gonna push my hip up into it. If you do this fast, you will lose a training partner, and that's not fun, right? I don't want anybody injured today, I just wanna show you how you could if you wanted to. If you needed to, if you wanna gather around this stuff.
So they can see it.
All right, so I'm here, she brings her elbows in, as she should. Look, I take her wrist, and I push down. I take my ankle, and I put it right on top, okay? I gotta keep that there. I bring my other ankle over, cross my ankles together, knees pinch, lean down. I have my cross face and my underhook, and now very slowly, I'm gonna turn my knees down to the ground. And it breaks her arm right there. Okay, so if you go fast, you're gonna lose a few. Yes? Questions? Yes?
Are you like doing a submission on this?
Yeah, so it's hard to see, right? I'm armbarring her. And if I do it without the leg on top, it looks like this. See that? This one is harder for some people to finish. Now here's the cool part. Even if you get this and you're not able to finish the armbar, we're gonna make her so nervous for that armbar that we're actually gonna take this arm instead. Okay? Because what's better than distracting somebody with this treasure so you can pick the bigger treasure? Yes? You know what I mean, right? Alright, cool. So, at the worst, if you don't want to do the armbar, right? If you don't feel safe, if your partner's like, safe word, please no, okay? Then just tuck their arm again, right? You don't have to like set up an armbar here. You can just hold their arm in place. And all it is I get one arm, or I push her arm down, I bring my ankles together and my knees and I pinch and I curl it. You're gonna naturally wanna bring your legs out here thinking it's gonna help you keep her, but now she can actually rotate her arm and start to move. So I keep it in. Yes? Yes, ma'am. So for those of you who understand the armbar and are a trustworthy partner, I'm gonna hold this, which makes Jessica very nervous, even though she looks calm. She's a black belt, well trained. So she starts to turn in like she needs to. She's got to get to this arm. There's a sense of urgency here. So what she'll naturally do is bring me this arm. Okay? So from here, I'm going to pretend I want this arm. And I'm going to grip her arm here instead. Okay? From here, I'm going to start to pin her arm down to the ground. I'll bring my arm underneath and grab my own wrist. I don't just want to start torquing her arm here. I actually want to pull my elbow all the way into her face because it will tighten out her shoulder. Okay? What's this called? Yes. So I bring it in, and then I try to paint the ground with the back of her arm. Tap. Now, because Jessica doesn't have any arms, what do you think she's going to do to tap? She's going to say it. She might even tap her feet. Hey, okay? So one more time. I start here, and let us not forget this one too. I love this position. There's so many options. Yeah? So I'm here. I just slid into a good side position. Jessica brings her arm in. I trap her arm and lock it down. If I understand it, I'll go for an arm bar. If not, she starts to defend this and gives me her arm. Even better, depending on who you are. Okay? From here, I pull in. Connection, I'll tell you a little side note too. Everybody grips here. If you go wrist to wrist, it's very tight. Pull in, Americana. Okay? And for those of my friends who are loud, if